Hey PPC friends, and welcome back to another PPC talk with myself. Today we're going to have a quick talk about what you should be doing during uncertain times. In other words, of course, what you should be doing during Corona season for your products that are not performing well anymore, or perhaps for products that you know you will have trouble restocking soon enough. And we're going to talk about two big mistakes I've seen a lot of sellers do, which I do not want you to be doing. Okay, so first off, what you should be doing for those products that are not performing well anymore, you want to, of course, reduce the bids, reduce the budgets, but, and here is already the first mistake, you have to reduce those bids and the budgets by a certain percentage and not to a fixed smaller amount, right? So don't just go into your bulk operations and then, reduce all bids to, let's say, 5 cents, but instead reduce them by, let's say, 40, 50, 60%, however badly your product is performing compared to before. And why is that? Well, you do not want to lose all of that data in terms of bids that you worked for a long time with your bid optimization, right? Because each bid for each keyword is reflective of how profitable that keyword has been for you, right? So if you just set them all to the same kind of bid, you're going to lose that relative data that you have. And when the season is over, when Corona is over at some point perhaps, well, you can't just increase those bids by, let's say, 30% again, because they'll all be the same and you'll lose that relative data, okay? So that is the first big mistake. Do not reduce those bids and budgets to a fixed same amount, right? Reduce them by a percentage. And by the way, you can do that easily with third-party software. I think pretty much all of the main ones out there can do that, AdBadger, Selix, and whatnot. So if you want to make life easy for yourself and you don't like dealing with Excel like me, and go to the campaign manager's bulk operations, then, do yourself a favor and use those third-party softwares. They're, of course, good for other stuff as well. But that kind of bulk editing in percentage is certainly one thing that they will be able to help you with. Okay. And now the second thing that people generally do really wrong in these times, and generally when it's not working well, is completely pausing their campaigns. Now for pretty much each algorithm of every kind of online advertising platform, like Amazon, like Google, like Facebook, pausing a campaign is generally never a good sign, right? It's understandable. That doesn't really make Amazon trust your product and your campaign more if it's completely paused. And of course, if it doesn't have any data to look at in the past few days. So that is why typically, if you're going to activate it, later on, you're going to have trouble getting impressions for that campaign. And as a rule of thumb, if you, let's say, pause it for 2 weeks, typically after you activate it again, you're going to have trouble getting those impressions for 2 weeks, right? And if that happens to be the Christmas season, well, that's a bad time to be struggling for impressions, right? So you don't want to do that. And instead of completely pausing those campaigns, you want to do what we talked about before, reducing those budgets and reducing those bids by a certain percentage, okay? So that is it in terms of what I recommend for your PPC. And generally speaking, for your Amazon FBA business, I would say right now is the perfect time, if you haven't already done it, to diversify, to spread your risks, and try getting an online shop with the Shopifys, with the WooCommerces, and try perhaps doing FBM or selling on eBay even. These are times that are really, stressing the fact it's generally a good idea in business, but right now it's becoming even more clear that you really should not only be betting on Amazon FBA. Okay, so that is it from us today. Thanks, Nick, for the little overlay. And I hope to see you back soon. If you want to see more PPC tips and news, you know what to do down there. And I'll see you around. Wow, I can't believe you're still watching this. Thanks so much for sticking through the end. I just wanted to mention real quickly, if you were wondering what happened to our moderator David, who was in the previous 2 videos, well, the truth is we had a little fallout and we decided not to continue this project together. So don't worry, we're still friends, but for the foreseeable future, I'm just going to be leading this PPC talk, sometimes with Nick, sometimes alone. So I just wanted to, share that with you in case you were wondering. All right, that's it, and I'll see you in the next one.